Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy with you for 2 hours here to get your Saturday morning started. Glad that you have tuned us in and joined us. You can comment away on Facebook Live like a lot of you do each and every time we come on the air. Sports Blitz Live, that's sports with a Z. Or you can give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program this morning at any time. Scott, good to see you this morning, and we keep rolling on through the month of July, and we're almost to the end, man. We're halfway through, and it's time. SEC Media Days is next week. We'll talk a little bit about that, but more importantly, man, we are within a month, basically, of the start of high school football. We've got a couple of games that'll get the season kicked off in Montgomery for the Kickoff Classic. And then it'll be underway, and then we'll blink. We'll be in Auburn for the Super 7. It's back in Auburn this year, so a lot of stuff to cover between now and then. But excited that we're getting close, and a lot of 7-on-7s going on. A lot of things that are happening right now to lead up to the season. But it's basically here now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were just talking about the Super 7 last year and wrapping up with the finals with basketball, and now we're getting ready for another football season. So very exciting time, a lot of new faces around the state in some different places, but I'm excited for this season in particular. I think we're going to have the opportunity to see a lot of good athletes, and obviously with the recruiting class that the state has this year, it'll be a lot of fun to follow those guys. Yeah,
we'll try to look at some schedules as we move through this first hour of some of the schools around this area that are of interest. I had several calls and actual texts this week wanting to know where the schedules were and wanting to know what games are played for multiple teams. So I felt like we do that today a little bit, talk about that, kind of go over that. There's a lot going on in the world of colleges, of course. Some pretty cool stuff as far as best college towns out there. Maybe you agree or disagree. We'll talk about that. I know Andy and David talked about that on the Auburn Blitz yesterday. Might hit that up. Some more transfers coming throughout the country and where some of these guys will land. And this thing constantly is evolving. There is no timetable really on when guys can just pull up stakes and leave and go. And I think Nick Saban said it a couple of weeks ago. He goes, really, there ain't any parameters on anything right now. And so everybody's just trying to do the best they can with what they have. I know Auburn hires a GM. We're hiring GMs in college now. Yeah. This guy's been in the NFL, 18 years?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 decades of experience, and I think obviously it's a great get for Auburn, but it shows you the high priority that these teams are putting on. Let me rephrase them. So I think we're basically a minor league now for the NFL, and it may be even the same thing. I mean, we're on comparison, players getting paid. It's now a 12-month thing. It's not just during the football season. So I mean, the off-the-field additions to these staffs, I think, will continue. You'll see more guys being brought in for evaluation, guys for recruiting, and I think this is a good hire for Auburn.
And we'll dive into this a little bit later too. Luke will join us at the top of the hour for hour number 2. I was a little shocked to see that Auburn athletes had received more than $6 million since profiting from their NIL. Would you have thought? Well, now I know there's a couple of keys in there. I mean, one being SUNY Lee.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that's her.
I would say the bulk of that's probably coming from SUNY Lee and Jabari Smith. That's probably but I mean Tank probably got He some things were
But
probably
that
worked
probably
out
wasn't
for
NIL.
Yeah, that probably but at the
That was
time
called,
it was
whatever the abbreviation to get you to stay was what that was. So I don't think that was really the whole gist of that. But anyway, that numbers are probably not in this, especially with Rich McGlynn being the guy that gave the report. I can absolutely promise you that didn't happen. But anyway, but again, that just kind of shows you now that a bulk of that, like you said, is through probably a couple or three athletes. The rest, but $6 million. I think that was like toward the top of the other schools, like what was being reported. I really kind of was shocked. But again, you got an Olympic athlete as popular as Suni Lee that decides to come back to Auburn coming up this year. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much fun she's got to be having too. I mean, people of other fan bases have made reference to, how she's never at Auburn. She's just really here for the competition. No, I mean, she's, entrenched herself within the Auburn community, and she's been very well embraced. And but she's got deals with Gatorade and some others, and then Jabari. The numbers were never disclosed, but he had something already worked out with Under Armour. So, I mean, those probably are the top two. But as a whole, even to have that amount, regardless of what it is, to be able to tout that you're, as a whole, your athletic department worth of players received over $6 million, that's pretty impressive.
I'm going to ask Luke about J.D. Davidson on top of the hour. He has exploded. And it's like somebody tweeted out and said, more proof that Nate Oates isn't any good as I mean, and I know that's tough, but we saw that with Anthony Grant a lot. We saw some players that maybe were kind of tamed or pushed back that were able to make it the NBA, and it kind of exploded or got to the next level. And I saw a lot of Alabama fans commenting and saying, even some guys from his hometown commenting, saying, now that's the J.D. Davidson I remember, and then people were making the comment that, boy, what would he have done in Auburn's offense under Bruce Pearl, where he was allowed to kind of go out and be himself instead of trying to play with them. But look, every coach has their own style. I think Nate Oates obviously has done better than any coach Alabama's had in quite some time, so it's hard to cast stones, but it is kind of eye-opening that he's been the best player for the Celtics since the Summer League has started. Now, I mean, he got drafted, so obviously they knew he was a good player, but I think he's kind of caught some people off guard with his point production, but it may be attributed to him being able to go out there. And in Summer League, it's a little bit more pickup style basketball. I mean, there's not a lot of organization to it if you've watched any of the games, but he's got an opportunity to kind of showcase what he can do. The guy is talented. We knew that. We watched him in high school at Calhoun. We know he can play, but man, maybe a little shot there. Kids pick up on stuff like that. If you're looking to go to a school and you're looking at J.D. Davidson, I'm not. It was kind of rumored that there may have been not the best relationship between Nate Oates and J.D. Davidson, maybe choosing to go ahead and leave. And he was projected to be a top first or second round pick, so it's really not that tough a decision at the end of the day. But maybe not the best relationship leaving. Maybe that gets around and other players kind of talk and they go, well, Bruce Pearl or John Calipari or whoever, they'll kind of let you go and kind of let you showcase your talents and give you some freedom. And Nate Oates maybe not so much, and other coaches. I mean, that's a discussion that goes on.
Yeah, and I mean, I still stand by. I never thought that the system was best for J.D. Davidson. I mean, his playmaking ability and his ability to get to the goal, those are things – you need shooters. Nate Oates' offense is based around having shooters, and J.D. Davidson, isn't the best shooter, but he's a great playmaker, has extreme –
Well, that's not his cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's dribble, drive, get, and kick, but he can hit threes. He can produce points, and his athleticism, Scott gives him that opportunity. Again, like you said, the system may have not been the best fit for him, that's why his production wasn't the best.
I do think that he's a pro, and I mean,
we
all
all
have, as Auburn fans, let him know as well as Alabama fans, about what we thought about his production, at least during the times that we played him. But overall, I do think that you make a good point that this could be something that other recruits look at and say, is this really a style that's going to be conducive for me to elevate myself to be the type of player I can be? And if he didn't really have the best relationship, especially now with the way NIL is working and being able to have agents and all these different things, people are jockeying to put themselves in the best position to make the most money long term, and that's what it's becoming about now. So would I risk going to a place where, I may be the top guy coming in, but will my production reflect something that allows me to be a top top pick?
And if you're comparing schools here in the state, and that's what we do. Obviously, Alabama football comparing to Auburn football, we get it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this, and this is what's going on. We put this many players in NFL. Auburn trying to get this many players in NFL, or trying to even come close to doing what Alabama's doing. Well, now the same goes for basketball. It's Bruce Pearl style versus Nate Oates style. It's different, and Bruce Pearl, it's no secret, he gives players a little bit more freedom. Sometimes it can burn him. He's burned him here in the last year or two, giving kids keep shooting a three, keep shooting wild shots, don't fall. But it's his style, and it's a style that is very conducive to the culture that's out there in basketball right now, where kids like to run and gun and get up and down the floor and shoot long threes and drive to the basket. There is not a lot of there's just not a lot of set offense. Auburn tries to get up and down the floor as fast as they can and get points and get back and play, smothering defense. They try to use their max effort on defense. Auburn shut down. Auburn was at its worst when it was trying to – if defenses got back and defended Auburn and made them work the ball around, they ended up usually taking a poor shot, and we saw it kind of rear its head in the NCAA tournament and in postseason. They were able to figure out – teams really the second half of the SEC schedule were able to figure out, if we can stop the guards from driving and dishing, if we can just shut that down at the top, Auburn's a different team, and they struggled a little bit. They didn't really adapt. Maybe they did adapt, but the guys that they had that needed to be shooters to hit shots didn't hit the shots. And I think Bruce Pearl kind of talked about that. He said, look, people figured us out. We tried to change, and we couldn't hit shots when we needed to. But still, the style of basketball is still the same. He's not going to change what he's doing because maybe a couple of guys can't hit shots. He's just going to stick with it and have to try to fight through it. Nate Oates, on the other hand, is more of a set type guy in some of these other schools. So I think that's a big – hey, look, everything plays into where a kid decides to go somewhere or not. All the way from what type of offense. We heard some anonymous coaches talking about it in college football, where the first thing the kid came on campus and said is, where do I fit in the system? And the second thing was, how much you going to give me? And I don't know if it was in that order or what. It may have been, how much you going to give me, then where do I fit in? I don't know.
I can only fit in based on what you give me.
If you give me this, I'll fit in anywhere. I'll do anything. So I think that's kind of what the narrative is now in college basketball. And football, we talk a lot about it in football, but it's probably been going on more in basketball. It's just not as many players because you don't have that many to sign every year. In football, you're signing up to 25, sometimes 30, depending on what your class looks like. So a lot to talk about as far as Brian Harsin and some of the comments that will be coming out during media days. I was on Gary Harris's show yesterday, and we talked about it. And some of the things that Derek Hall and John Samuel Schenker and Tank Bigsby might say at media days, because they're going to be hit with these questions about. But three of the biggest supporters of Brian Harsin, he's taken with him. Now, again, they're leaders, and we know that, and they could have chosen to go other places or leave, and they didn't, and they're staunch supporters. So what narrative you're going to get out of that. But, Brian Harsin has handled himself professionally up until this point. I think we'll see on Thursday. I think Alabama goes on Tuesday, how things kind of are handled. So we'll talk about media days and all that kind of stuff as well later on in the program. But we're just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, want to thank everybody for joining us. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard, Scott Hardy here with you till 9 o'clock. You can give us a call, 256-234-6221. You know, one of the things that we were talking about earlier, and I want to go in and dive into this. We usually do college a little bit later on, but since we were talking about Brian Harsin, we were kind of in a group text and talking about you know, this $6 million that athletes made with the NIL. And a couple of our buddies were talking about this, and they said the biggest takeaway is a bad news, good news, bad news situation. Good news, Auburn's near the top in athletes, you know, profiting from NIL. That's not an issue for recruits on the plane, so they're obviously being able to get the money they need. And so that's huge in this world. The bad news is if it's not NIL, then why do we only have 4 recruits right now? Must be something else, like maybe the coach or something else. And I really think it boils down to this, and this is what you're going to hear on media days coming from Brian Harsin. I don't know what kind of comments he's going to make, how far he's going to dive into it. They're going to ask him. There's no doubt about it. But obviously the stuff that went on after the season was over, I think we knew it was damaging. And I told Gary yesterday, I said, I don't know how. I still have to pinch myself and go, how did he survive that? You know, how is he still the coach? Because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to survive that and shouldn't have. The reason he did survive it is because he didn't do anything. I mean, I think that's if they'd have found a smidget of anything nefarious, he'd have been out because it was a setup from the get-go. They didn't want him there. But what is the issue? I think it comes down to one thing. I think he came in a late situation and closed out. People will remember. He closed out a pretty good class after Malzahn had us in the 40s, like mid-40s late, and he was able to get us, to 18? And so now everybody's like, well, now all of a sudden Brian Harsin can't get players, and, you know, he's got four recruits committed, but it's not there's a lot of interest, but nobody pulling the trigger. I truly think it's because of the uncertainty that was laid in the offseason, Scott, more than anything.
Now, I'll say this as it relates to – I'll address your point first. I think obviously other SEC coaches are using the lack of certainty for what's going to happen with Brian Harsin long term in their
Patrick just said that. He said negative recruiting tactics by other programs.
Yeah,
he literally just came in and commented what you just said.
I think that probably is paying. You know, it has to be playing a part. And so if you're on the fence with Auburn, these guys are saying, these other coaches are saying, hold off, don't make your decision, see what's going to happen first, but don't take us out of contention in the process. We're going to continue to recruit you, and, you know, if you're somebody that has committed, most of these guys are going to go to Auburn anyway if you're already on there, if you've already committed now. I was reading something, though, if, say, Auburn doesn't sign any other 4 stars or anything like that.
I saw where it
you don't want that, though.
That's not what I mean, I saw that tweet or whatever that post was, and if you already starting to say stuff like that, then you're already bracing that you ain't gonna do good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, we don't have to sign it. No, everybody else is.
That's the point.
Everybody else is, and you're sitting there going, well, we're gonna sit just fine. You know, at what was the number?
I think it was like it'd be 22 or 24, something like that.
You're so far out of competition,
which means you're probably 7th or 8th in the conference. Like
7th or 8th, like 12th or 13th, probably.
True. Yeah,
I mean now.
True.
I hate to say it that way, but, I mean, you look at the recruiting rankings. I mean, I really would say if you finish 24th, you'd probably be 9th or 10th in the SEC. Because, look, Auburn's been finishing 15th, and I know they've been like 7th.
Okay, yeah. Well, then,
you know what I mean?
That's a
now
tough spot.
Now you got programs like Ole Miss and Kentucky and programs like that are and Tennessee's rejuvenated. Florida's going to be higher again with Billy Napier. You've got a lot of teams that have kind of been dormant that are kind of coming up the ranks a little bit.
I will say this before we hit the break. I do think there's some NIL in play in terms of what's preventing – I'm not going to say preventing, but maybe we haven't seen the recruits come on board that we would like to see that we're in contention with. Because a name that you mentioned, Richmond Glenn, he is, for whatever anybody says, I think he is the best person in the country at his position. He's very hesitant to allow our coaches or Auburn coaches to pursue certain things, primarily because when NIL really hit the scene, we were in the middle of an investigation with Bruce Pearl. So he didn't want to do anything to entice anybody to look at us even further. Saying that, I think that with the transition from NIL Auburn to, I think it's going to be On to Victory, the new collective, I think you're going to see.
Is Jason Gamble still going to be in charge?
I'm not sure. It won't be that there's a doctor in Tuscaloosa, and Andy had some great notes here. There's a doctor in Tuscaloosa who will now be taking over for Rick Davison, who was kind of the founder of NIL Auburn. I'm sure you'll still have some of the same components. That's the irony of the whole thing. But I think that there's going to be a different approach to how Auburn does NIL in the way that they're soliciting buy-in from the fan base, because Auburn's going to have to be more strategic than a lot of other schools, primarily because of what's happening with their head coach. In a normal year, I think Auburn would be positioned very well. They've signed on with a couple of different national brands to help educate the coaches and the players on what they can and can't do, and some financial literacy and all of those things. So on the surface, everything looks to go well, but the primary key in all of this is, can your collective raise the appropriate amount of money or an adequate amount of money to be able to compete with these other schools? Yeah. And so obviously we can catch it on the other side. But
No, I mean, we got a little time because Patrick comes back and says the powers that be, and quote, damaged the 2023 class. An 8 to 10 win season will relieve some recruits who are on the fence. Luke comes in and says everyone negatively recruits. Auburn just gave people ammo. I think that's spot on. I mean, I think that's what Patrick's saying. Negative recruiting tactics. He's not saying that, just this year. We all know that negative recruiting tactics go on. That's just part of the game. But more than not, more ammo, like Luke said, was given by Auburn itself to hurt itself by the powers that be. I think they're kind of agreeing with each other basically here, and I'm agreeing too that Auburn, and I said that on Gary's show yesterday, Auburn's, the guys that are supposedly trying to make the program better probably did the most damage, which at the end of the day is so stupid. I mean, because they were mad because they didn't have how about give the guy a chance? I mean, we saw Charles Barkley come out. I mean, he's like, let the guy do his daggum job, man. All right, you may not agree with it, but that's who you got. So let's try to do the best we can to give him the best shot. If it doesn't work out, then we'll make a change. Don't get your panties in a wad because you didn't get the guy that you wanted. So we're going to sabotage the whole deal to get him out because my guy or whoever it was wasn't selected to be the head coach of the program that I give all the money to. I mean, that really is what it boils down to. I mean, it boils down to I'm mad, I'm going to take my ball and go home, elementary school kind of crap. And that's the thing that it's just ridiculous.
It's just hard to imagine where the offseason, and we talked about it a little bit last week and pretty much since this game happened, but if things don't go downhill after the second half of the Mississippi State game, from that point on to now, it has been about as bad as it could get for a
Well,
program.
it was a snowball effect. And there were you lost your last 5 games. I know the Iron Bowl was a great show, and Auburn had a 10-0 lead late into midway through the fourth quarter. It looked like Auburn was going to be able to hold on and pull it off, but Alabama was able to tie it and send it to overtime and win it. But the Mississippi State game and the South Carolina game may have left the worst taste in everybody's mouth. If Auburn wins the Mississippi State South Carolina game and goes on and beats Houston in the bowl game, I mean that's 9 wins.
And we're having a completely different.
It's 9 wins, and you go. It's 9 wins and a close loss to Alabama, instead of a collapse and a loss to Alabama. Going, well, they were close in that. It's a whole different view. I mean, that's really what it is. So I think the only thing, and we've talked about it multiple times on this show, and I've talked about it on other shows. Luke's talked about it. I think the only thing that can get going well, Jason Caldwell's come on here and talked about it, is the football season. Getting kicked off is going to be the best thing for Auburn because that's going to be where they're able to turn some people's minds. They're going to be able to see. We're all going to be able to see, is this thing going to go? Is this a hangover? Is there a hangover still from last year in how Auburn finished? Or do we see a different approach by Brian Harsin and a new staff and just a whole different order? What kind of field does this team put out? We broke down the schedule. If Auburn starts off 5-0, that's wins with Penn State and LSU right out of the gate with 3 other wins, from lesser than teams. But, your whole mentality and everything changes when you're 5-0. Your confidence level's high. You're probably playing pretty good football. There's a lot of different things that go on. If you're 3-2 after 5 games, it's a whole different ball of wax. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita shot. And if the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve. I wish grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country 97.5.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Split Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, did you heard that before? I showed that.
I had not seen that prior to that.
I mean, if you haven't seen whatever the attempt of the Palestinian Guard band was to play our national anthem yesterday when Joe Biden was in Israel, I don't even know what that was. I mean,
that's a good.
It sounded like it was some type of parody. I mean, like it was. If you were watching that, you would think that would be something you'd see on Saturday Night Live.
Well, that's a good actually transition, not to Saturday Night Live, but the Israel. Like I do think that.
And I'm sorry to get off on that. But that was awful.
We've seen. We talk about how coaches are elevating their programs and trying to do their best to gain exposure.
This is a pretty good segue to what you were going to talk about.
With Bruce Pearl, on their trip over
there. You think they'll play for him?
I hope that's not.
I mean, if they show up and play like that, they may get back on the plane and come home. So.
I think that's really cool, coordinating with stations to be able to show these games. So it not only gains exposure for the university, it's the conference, and then obviously college basketball in general. So I think this is, again, another opportunity and another reason why Auburn has been as successful it has been on the floor because of events like this and moves like this.
Yeah, you're referring to Auburn leaving on July the 30th to go to Israel. Plan's going to be for I think Bruce Pearl kind of injects this into the program. We've seen him do this already a couple of times, take trips overseas. This is the first time for a lot of these kids they've been out of the country. For a lot of them, it's the first time they've really been anywhere in their life. And, that also adds to it. Look, Scott, I won't use it's not the best comparison, but it kind of is. I know Patrick's watching. He was an ambassador. You were an ambassador. That was kind of my goal in the ambassador program. If you look at the word ambassador, I tried to say, all right, you are a representative for our school, not just, in other schools. But I wanted you guys to kind of expand your horizons and provide some opportunities for you guys to go somewhere that maybe you've never been before. And we took trips, and everybody didn't have to go. It was not a mandatory thing, but it was an opportunity for those that chose to do it. And a lot of you chose to go on trips and do things, and you got to see different parts of the world, not just the United States, but the world, and kind of see how things were done in other countries, and and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's a lore. That's part of and that word spread, and people said, I want to go do that. You know what I mean?
That's a very good comparison. I don't think that it's, not shortchanging by any means, because what you're trying to do is if somebody is a part of your program, when they leave, you want them to be more exposed, a better person, a better overall person.
Right.
And I think that when you're a part of groups like that, if you're part of a team, it was very similar. When you're part of a team like that, I think it only builds camaraderie and makes you more successful. And so as that correlates to Bruce Pearl, I think that Auburn has probably its greatest ambassador outside of Charles Barkley in Bruce Pearl. And
no doubt.
I think that continues. You see it with Butch Thompson, and I think that if given the opportunity, we'll see what happens. On the field success is going to determine it. But Harsin has a good opportunity to do the same, because if he has some success, I'll say this, for all the people that maybe wanted him gone and all of that, if he has some success this fall and any substantive success, I mean, he's going to be endured by fans forever.
Well, and maybe that's part of this narrative in this story in the end. We don't know how it all went. We don't know when it went. But I'm not saying that student athletes are picking Auburn because they take a trip to Israel or Europe. I'm saying that that's just part of the lore of Bruce Pearl and what he does as a coach and a program that's kind of spreading. They're going to pick the school that's going to give them the most money and is going to be the best fit for them. I know that's the top priority, but it doesn't hurt when you got a guy that's so personable like Bruce Pearl that has the team to his house all the time at Lake Martin for them to hang out and do cool things. It's also cool that you're going to get on a plane when other schools are just hanging out at their campus and playing pickup basketball, that they're getting on a plane and they're going to Israel to do a tour, and they're going to do, play some games, and they're going to be televised. It's going to be a different style of basketball. They'll be able to see some different things. We'll kind of go over what they'll be doing. This will be very similar to the 2017 Italy trip. So that if you come to Auburn, it's not just it's an experience, because everybody's not going to get drafted. Everybody's not going to go to the NBA. So, some of these kids that are on that peripheral go, man, this is pretty cool. It maybe gives me an opportunity to have a chance to do something I otherwise wouldn't have, by going over because there's a lot of kids go play in Israel, a lot of kids go play in Europe as far as their career, because they maybe not are able to play in the NBA or the G League. So interesting stuff there, but we'll talk about that trip here in a little bit and a little bit more about it. Of course, we will get to some high school talk, some of the schedules from around here. In this area of high school football schedules, this thing starts August 19th for everybody. So, we're looking at basically a month from now. We'll be kicking high school football off, Scott.
Yeah, man, it's wild to think about, but I'm excited. As you said, a lot of new faces
everywhere.
Actually, we have Benjamin Russell alumni who now will be taking over as the head coach for the Central Cougars, Shundell Rusall. So we do want to congratulate him on that opportunity, and gives him the experience that I know that he's been seeking. So
again, you gotta spread your wings. You gotta go and take jobs. We see that all the time. We see guys go and maybe their ultimate goal is to get back somewhere, but you got to get a head coaching job and show what you think you can do now. If that's your aspiration to be a head coach, we see it in college. Guys move up, and if you look at the track record of how coaches make their way up the top, look at Nick Saban, look at Gus Malzahn, look at where they started and now where they are. As far as they start and move up the ranks, and then so congratulations to him, and I know that's exciting for him. I know that's exciting for Central. Know he's going to work really hard over there and to try to build that program back up. So that's a win for everybody. We're going to take a break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Getting close to the top of the hour. We'll welcome in Luke Robinson, his take on what's going on around the world in sports. I'm going to go back to didn't finish up, kind of a short segment there. The trip for Auburn basketball overseas on July the 30th. The plan is to do some sightseeing and a learning experience. Just kind of like what I said in 2017 with Italy. Again, most of those guys, I would dare say, have never been to that part of the world. And you know, that's such a special place for multiple religions. You know, it's the Mecca of all really religious entities in the whole world. So it's going to be a very, very emotional trip, I'm sure. For a lot of people, as it is for anybody that takes that trip. It will be a little bit tougher competition, scheduled to play the Israeli under-20 national team twice, with the first game on August 2nd and a rematch 4 days later. And then they're scheduled to play the Israeli senior national team on the 8th. Both opponents expected to give Auburn major test with their physical style of play. So, yeah, we all know that over in the Middle East and Europe, it's a very, very, very physical, maybe old light school NBA, not the current NBA, paper tiger NBA, but the old school NBA where, man, you get knocked around. So these kids aren't used to that, and they're going to get banged around, maybe cause them to, from a mental standpoint, to get off their game a little bit because, you get frustrated, you want to get retaliatory. So maybe that'll be good from a mental standpoint. In preparation for the games, it'll be international rules. They'll be using a 24-second clock in scrimmage situations in the full court and the half court practices. NCAA allows teams to have limited full squad practices in the summer, but when a team is making an out-of-country exhibition tour, 10 additional practices are allowed. So, again, playing the system, figuring out, hey, it's extra work. That's what this guy does. If people haven't figured that out, I can get 10 extra days. Oh, we're going to take a trip to Italy. Or Israel went to Italy in 2017. He's looking at it like, not only, are my kids going to be exposed to some different things, we're going to build in some sightseeing days, they're going to learn some things, it's going to be an educational tour. We're going to get 10 extra days of practice and exhibition against some pretty good competition. It's only going to make us better heading into the season.
I agree. I just think that we're, as Auburn fans, very fortunate to have somebody like Bruce Pearl on board. Very similar in his style of, I think he and Saban share similar qualities in terms of how they seem to be able to get the best out of their team.
Right.
I know a lot of coaches do that, but in particular, if we're talking about Auburn, Alabama, those are the guys. And so what they're able to do from an exposure of the program, elevating the program, and ultimately, competing for opportunities for championships. So you need somebody like that. And ironically enough, we've been begging for something like this on the basketball side for, forever. And now it's happening, but his success is actually causing more pressure for the football program. So it's
well, you know what? I don't have any problem at all with that because if that's what it takes, so be it. But, you got a program that is doing what it needs to do to elevate itself to be at the top. They're the winningest program in the SEC in the last 5 years. And it's like Luke said Tuesday, that's with a stinker year in 2020 mixed in there. So Auburn's the winningest SEC program in basketball over the last 5 years with a mediocre at best 2020 season. So that's where you want to be, and that's what you strive for. I think that's what Nick Saban sets the bar with on the football side, and that's what you should do. It's figure out your niche and what's the best route for your players and get them to buy into your system, and it's easy to buy in to that system. Luke said 6 teams are doing overseas tours: Auburn, Bama, Arkansas, UK, Vandy, Ole Miss. Everyone does these and can once every 4. Everybody does them. Well, you know what? That's good because they obviously know how to play the game. That's part of it, right? Can't have anything, right? But anyway, you don't hear a lot about, of course, the overseas stuff. With what we hear around here, is because of our proximity and what Bruce Pearl does and his impact. But they may be doing it, but again, look at the teams at the top that are doing it and maybe why they're doing so well during the season. An Arkansas, Kentucky, maybe not Vanderbilt and Ole Miss, Alabama here recently. I'm not saying Nate Oates isn't trying to, he's obviously the best coach they've had in a long time, and he's doing the right things. But again, it goes back. We talked about the system earlier in the show and kind of the J.D. Davison reference. So, but anyway, we're up against another break. When we come back, final segment of hour number 1, and then we'll head into hour number 2. A lot still to discuss here on Saturday Sports Countdown.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City, Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly. Our guarantee to you.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We touched a nerve early, so Luke got on in and called us and got in, so hopefully we can get him for a couple segments. Luke, thanks for joining us, brother. And, yeah, I know, you were talking about this, and there's a ton of teams that are going overseas and do every year. But, I think we talk about Auburn and Alabama obviously a little bit more than Drexel or Fordham or whoever else might be taking a trip somewhere because of the impact and what we have as far as our local press is concerned.
No, there's no doubt. And look, Auburn and Alabama have both done this before, even under different regimes that weren't quite as savvy as Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl.
Well, it didn't help the ones before, I can tell you that.
Oh, it did. I'm not saying it took.
Yeah, it didn't.
I'm just saying that this is not something that Bruce Pearl just came up with. This is something that's been going on forever. It's a great idea. I think
That's not what it said in my notes right here.
For all the teams that do it, I think it's this year I just looked it up. There are 55 teams that are going to different spots, and I found it interesting because I was like, I wonder where everybody's going.
Now, I'm looking at that list too, Luke. It's pretty cool to see. Most people are going to either Italy or France or Spain, but there are Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, stuff like that.
Well, and then there's also, I think it's Ole Miss and Kentucky, I noticed, are both going to the Bahamas which, look, okay, I mean, I think that's cool. It's a cool trip. And really, this is not about wins and losses. I mean, if Auburn or Alabama's going to France and Spain, I think, and Auburn's going to Israel. If Auburn and Alabama go to their respective spots and they both go over on the trip, I don't think anybody should take anything away from that. That doesn't matter. This is all about team building, is all this
Right.
is. And that in that case, it's awesome. It's sort of like when you had a band trip to go to Europe or go to Asia or wherever. I know when I was at Indian Springs, our glee club was, I mean, pretty much world famous. I mean, they were not the Vienna Boys Choir, but they were a couple of rungs down, and so they were invited to go to all these exotic or faraway destinations. And I mean, it was really more about trying to get everybody on the same page and try to get to know everybody. And, you know, it's more important than ever now when you look at Alabama and Auburn's roster. Yeah, they're bringing back a few folks, both of them. But for the most part, you're going to be dealing with a whole new set of folks that you're going to depend a lot on. So you got to get them acclimated with one another very, very quickly.
Luke, it's good.
That's what's cool.
Luke, it's good to see Oregon's really stepping out of the box. They're going to Canada. So I guess they'll jump on a Trailways bus and hop over the border, I guess.
Canada makes a little more sense to me than the Bahamas, even because of this. Look at the talent Canada's been pumping in. Now, it's not.
I'm just talking about from an experience of going.
I know Alabama had a couple of dudes from Canada, Bediako, and then the other kid who was. I just woke up, so excuse me. But they've had some Canada kids, and I mean a lot of places have. So it's also a moderate recruiting trip. I mean, you can go to, Israel or Italy or Spain or France or wherever, and you might find somebody over there in Europe that nobody knows about. I mean, that's.
Well, I don't know if I don't think you caught it. You said, you just gotten up. Earlier in the show, I told Scott was part of the ambassador program at Central Alabama with me. And, I tried to do a trip every year for those kids to try to, broaden their horizons and let them experience some things they otherwise probably may never get to experience. Not saying they won't, but, up until that point in their life, maybe had never been to those countries, never seen those things. And, that's another thing that I think is good, not just for Auburn and Alabama, but these other colleges that take these trips to Europe. For some of those kids, it's the first time they've probably really ever been anywhere, much less to a different country. And, there's a lot of different facets to this trip that's beneficial. Like you said, recruiting, exposure, competition, 10 extra practice days, and what the kids get out of it educationally.
Yeah, and I think, they're all really important, but those 10 extra practice days, as I said, I had a friend who was able to check out Alabama yesterday. Now, I don't know if Alabama's practice yesterday, and he didn't either, is going to count as one of the 10 practice days, or if it's just one of the standard, you can do some stuff 20 hours every week. I don't know. But anyway, he was excited to go. I think this was one of the first times. I know it's the first time he's seen a lot of these Alabama players together, and he was really impressed with some of the newcomers. Brandon Miller, the 5-star that's coming in this year, he said, look, when you look at him, you think, man, he's really thin. But he said he doesn't get knocked around, and he was the best player on the court yesterday. So, and that's Charles Bediako was out there who's just been on a tour, playing all over the place recently in Canada, on his own, like with the Canadian national team. And obviously some other guys like Jaden Bradley were out there, who's a McDonald's All-American. He's 100% now, but he wasn't going full court just as a precaution from the coaching staff. It wasn't a doctor thing. It was like the coaching staff saying, look, we don't want you to do this. We're just going to let you be in some half-court sets. But it was, he said it was a lot of fun to finally get back out there, and interesting to see a ton of new faces. Noah Clowney is a guy that just came in from South Carolina. He was really impressed with him. So yeah, he was excited to get things kicked back up again, and I see that. I think Auburn's tour starts July 31st, so they'll probably be leaving any time now. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks away, so you got to go and get acclimated to a new time zone and a new place to live and what you're going to eat. And so I'm sure they'll go out there 4 or 5 days early.
They leave. They actually leave on July 30th.
Wow.
They start August 2nd. So
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
They
they're going to do.
a couple of days
I think they're going to do some.
Okay, I thought 31st meant the first day.
Yeah, I think they're doing some stuff on the back end too. But I want to talk about this because we'll hold over. We're at the top of the hour break, so kind of ponder this a little bit. J.D. Davison really has had a great start to the summer league for the Boston Celtics. So I do want to talk about that when we come back and kind of get your thoughts maybe on his career at Alabama versus what he's doing right now as a start in the NBA. Stay tuned. Second hour of Sports Blitz Live coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
At Glenn Smith in Opelika, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Check out these Hot July offers on powerful full-size Chevy and GMC trucks. The Chevy Silverado discounted up to $6,500 off, or the GMC Sierra $5,000 off. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on several models. New inventory is arriving daily.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hour number 2 of the program. Luke held on with us for this segment. Wanted to go into J.D. Davidson a little bit. Kind of had a great night the other night in the G League with or the Summer League, not the G League, but the Summer League, NBA Summer League. Kind of went off on scoring, which, again, garnered some talk on social media, the good and the bad of social media. The bad is everybody's got an opinion and everybody's going to throw it out there. And, you know, you and I were just talking off the air that a lot of the criticism was coming, instead of the praise, it was a lot of criticism coming from Alabama fans on Twitter saying that, well, why didn't we see this version of J.D. Davidson at Alabama? And, you know, maybe he was getting held back and, you know, why, you know, this, that, and the other, the typical what you hear on social media from any fan base, but seemed to be really taking some shots at the program there, Luke.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, look, it was funny last year. Me and a lot of people were sort of tired of the know-it-all Auburn fan base, but at least they educated themselves. I mean, I think the Auburn fan base, basketball-wise, has done a pretty good job of like educating themselves on basketball, knowing what the heck's going on. Yeah, you got some guys that are going to complain no matter what, but that's everywhere. The problem with the Alabama fan base when it comes to basketball is most of them are helmet heads, quote unquote, that just watch basketball passively, and a lot of them just almost want to complain as if it's basketball versus football, and that's not what it is. And I think a lot of them were on social media saying, hey, I can't believe Nate Oates held J.D. Davison back. Look, Nate Oates didn't hold J.D. Davison back. In fact, I feel quite confident in saying Davison was asked to be more aggressive a lot. And I think for whatever reason, his instincts didn't necessarily kick in college as much. And then, things got going sideways a little bit towards the end of the season, and by that time it's a little late. I think if J.D. Davison had come back to Alabama for one more year, he would have had a breakout season. I mean, I think things would have been much different for him this year at Alabama. And it has nothing to do with Nate Oates. I think it's about getting ready for the next level. Well, and then you say, okay, what about the transition from college to NBA? You know this as much as anybody. I mean, the NBA is all about what can you do for me individually. And J.D. has been the star in Leaderhatchee forever, and then he wasn't necessarily a star at Alabama. Well, he goes to Boston, and he's really sort of put a chip on his shoulder being drafted in the second round, and he comes out guns a-blazing. I mean, I think he sort of turned it loose. He was able to, instead of being a top 15 pick, which some people projected a year ago, he's able to say, hey, let me show y'all doubted me. Let me show you what I can do. And I think it relieves some pressure off of him, and good for him. I mean, I am 100% cheering for him. I like J.D. Davison a ton. And he's a good kid, never was a problem. I just think it didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't translate in the first season just because I don't think he let himself be himself. He was instinctually, as I said off the air, I mean, there were some times where he would attack the rim aggressively and then dish it. Well, just go attack the rim and dunk it. That's what you can do. And I think it was all about trying to fit into the team. And, look, I'll tell you, we talk about these European tours or these overseas tours. How much would a European tour have helped J.D. Davison last year? And that's what my buddy and I were talking about, was that, my friend feels like there's a lot of promise with this Alabama basketball team, but the issue, of course, is chemistry. Chemistry just can't really be taught. You've just got to do the best you can and hope that everything mingles very, very well. Well, a good start to that is a trip like this. And if last year's team had been able to do that, I think it would have helped a lot, because one thing missing from last year, while a lot of people came back, was that glue guy like a Herb Jones to keep everybody in line, to keep everybody together. And when you lose that, you got to identify who the next one is. And Alabama never identified, okay, who's the leader of this team? They just never identified it, and that was a problem all season long.
Shifting over to football, Luke, we're getting geared up and prepared for SEC Media Days, and just want to get your thoughts on, and I'm sure we'll talk about it as we get a little bit closer, but get your thoughts on, what you're looking forward to hearing and what you maybe expect from the Alabama contingent that'll be over in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going to go to SEC Media Days on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. I don't really know what to hear or what to expect. I suspect somebody will be brazen enough to bring up the Jimbo thing to Nick Saban on Tuesday, but I doubt he gives a whole much of an answer on it. I know Bryce Young will be there, Will Anderson will be there, Jordan Battle will be there, and that's great. But I really kind of expect a lot of coach speak. I think Brett and I talked about this on Tuesday. SEC Media Days just isn't what it was, not because nobody's anticipating football, not because everybody's anxious to get this season here, but because every single day we get information. Every single hour we get information now. It used to be SEC Media Days was where you find out, okay, is so-and-so still on the roster? How is so-and-so looking in skeleton drills in the summertime or whatever? Well, now we have eyeballs every single place there is. I mean, I just told you about a guy who got to go to Alabama's practice yesterday. I mean, that really a lot of people don't get to go see. I mean, it is all out there. So SEC Media Days just never really seems to provide a whole lot of news. I think last year was when they announced Texas and Oklahoma, and that's great. I hope they drop another bomb like that because that'll get things buzzing. But it's very hard to keep things secret until SEC Media Days at this point. You know, it's kind of like when you come out with a summer blockbuster, and people used to, okay, I got to go see this for myself, see what it's all about. You know, as soon as the new Thor comes out, most of the people have already read the Wikipedia plot synopsis before they ever get there. I mean, it's, you know, you can't keep anything secret anymore. So I'm more excited about seeing how excited everybody else is, meaning the rest of the media and who's all in attendance from that perspective. I know who's going to be there from the football side. I just kind of want to see, you know, the Barrett Talese and Matt Hayes, those kind of folks, what kind of vibe they have and put off when they're there.
I did have a side note question. You mentioned Bryce Young and had me thinking about the plethora of good quarterbacks that have come through during this unprecedented run that Saban and Alabama have been on. Where would he rank in terms of quarterbacks during this time, you think?
It's a great question because, you know, you feel like you can't really accurately rank him until he gets done with this year. I mean, if you were just going to use this year and put a stop to it, it'd be hard not to rank him right at the top. But I'll tell you, that 2020 Alabama team, I sort of went back and forth with an LSU guy on 2020 Alabama and 2019 LSU. And, you know, his point was, well, the COVID really put an asterisk on that season. I said, actually, yeah, it put an asterisk. It was tougher. I mean, you play an all-SEC schedule. And he said, well, some of the teams only played 7 games. I said, again, to me, that makes it tougher. Instead of playing an Ohio State team that's been worn down at the end of the season, you play a team that's led by Justin Fields that's really good, that hadn't had to go through the same kind of gauntlet you went through because none of Alabama's games got canceled. And so we went back and forth, and what it really made me think was, you know, Mac Jones' season is always – Mac Jones is always going to be underappreciated at Alabama by just the college football fan in general, because you're going to think about Tua Tagovailoa and some of the passes he made, which were incredible. You're going to think about Bryce Young, which was, you know, he's just an extraordinary athlete, and he's got – you talk about a feel for the game, he's got it. You're going to think about Jalen Hurts, who not the most precise passer in the world, but just had a way to get he was very, very elusive. In fact, I mean, Brett and I talked about, I think it was Saturday Down South, said he's been the most important player at Alabama in the last decade, which I wouldn't agree with that, but still, it tells you that somebody else nominated him for that. And, you know, maybe Mac Jones should be number 1 on this list, though, because that guy just had the kind of season that you just don't – I mean, and he didn't get to play any soup cans. I mean, he didn't get to play a Mercer. He didn't get to play in Alabama State. He got to play nothing but big boys. And he rarely made a mistake, and Alabama beat everybody the year except Florida in the SEC title game by double digits. So I might go Mac Jones, Bryce Young, and then Tua Tagovailoa, as weird as that sounds. But Bryce Young will certainly have a chance to surpass that this year. Hopefully, if some of his receivers really come on, because one thing Mac Jones had that Bryce Young won't have is Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle.
That's some good analysis there, Luke. You know, we're a little bit over time, but I do want to go ahead and we'll have time to talk about this over the next few weeks. But high school football season getting started in Montgomery with the Kickoff Classic. Two really good games. You got Helena and Chelsea the first night, and then you've got Hoover and Auburn on the second night. I know you and Tommy will be calling that game for us on the network on that Friday. That game will be the first game of the season for both of those teams. 2 unbelievable programs. It's going to be exciting to get the season started with those 2 games.
Yeah, that's a really good game to get things kicked off. And oddly, I mean, Auburn's going to have more high school prospects on their team than Hoover is, if you ask me. I haven't even seen a whole lot from the Hoover side in terms of who's being recruited. And, you know, people may forget this, but Hoover's welcoming a new coach.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's not going to be Niblett roaming the sidelines anymore. So, and Auburn, boy, if you were putting a line on this game, you might make Auburn the favorite, right? I mean, they have a pretty good squad.
Well, if you look at the recruiting, recruiting rankings, Luke, Auburn's got multiple guys, ranked, and you look at Thompson, you look at Phoenix City, you look at these top programs, and you look at the perennial power in Hoover, and you really don't find anybody. So it's kind of an odd situation all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, it is very odd, and should be a little alarming for Hoover fans. But again, I'm not saying Hoover's not going to be good. They're always going to be good. They've got plenty of talent to choose from, but they just don't have the dudes that they normally have. I mean, a lot of those guys are at Thompson or at Auburn or at Central Phoenix City right now. So Thompson, by the way, opens up, I think, against Buford, Georgia, and then they play another team from Tennessee. And that game, the Tennessee game, I know is going to be on August 28th on ESPN. So everybody will have a chance, and it's going to be from Alabaster. So, I mean, a lot of people will have a chance to see Thompson up close and personal if they want to, or they can go to the game or just watch it on ESPN. But, man, that first night of games, and, Brett, I don't remember all of them offhand, but I saw a write-up on AL.com, and I was thinking, my God, this is the best first night of high school football I can just about ever remember. There are games galore on that first Friday night that'll just you can't go wrong with whatever one you watch.
Right, it is. It's a great slate. Scott and I were talking about what we're going to say over the next few weeks leading up, because we're a month out now. So we'll be talking about these games and a lot leading up over the next few weeks. But did want to mention that. I know you guys will be on the call for us on the AHSA. I know that'll be exciting. Hey, I can think of a lot of worse places to be other than calling Auburn and Hoover in the opening night of high school football here in the state of Alabama. It's going to be a phenomenal scene in Crampton Bow. The crowd will be great, and hopefully the weather will be, and everything will get kicked off well. So, but Luke, we appreciate it. We're up against the break, brother. Have a good weekend, man.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Stay cool.
All right, you too, bud. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seat belts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
At Glenn Smith in Opelika, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Check out these hot July offers on powerful full-size Chevy and GMC trucks. The Chevy Silverado discounted up to $6,500 off. Or the GMC Sierra $5,000 off. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on several models. New inventory is arriving daily.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Did want to go back through the AHSA Kickoff Classic on the 18th and 19th. The 18th on Thursday, we'll have Helena and Chelsea, two programs from the Birmingham area. Oddly, Chelsea now 7A, Helena 6A. And a lot of people, it will probably look opposite of that on the football field. You'll look down and probably look and see Helena, and you would think they would be the 7A program, and Chelsea probably the 6A. But nevertheless, and look, man, again, I think this is not breaking news. This is not something that we're going to be sharing with everybody that they don't already know, especially in Chelsea. But in the press release, it says, it talks about Chelsea last year, and then leading into moving to Class 7A Region 3, it says, in what will be the school's most challenging season in school history, with the likes of, and this is why they go on to say this, 7A defending champ Thompson, Hoover, Oak Mountain, Hewitt, Trussville, Vestavia Hill, Spain Park, Tuscaloosa County. That's just their region opponents.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, and obviously they caught a tough break, and that's typical what happens when, not to say Chelsea isn't, a large area in terms of population.
They've grown.
Dang, they got the rough end of the stick on this one.
Well, that's not what you want to be introduced to.
Yeah, that's
when you move up. I mean, it's one thing to move up, but you move into the SEC. I mean, that's basically what they've done. And I mean, and the reason I say this, all those teams have been 7A for a long time. They're acclimated, and then you get one school jumping up in that region. Hey, it's just the way it falls. But Chelsea last year lost 4 really close games. Won to Briarwood 42-35. They lost to Homewood 37-35. They had some close ones that they could have gone their way. But anyway, that's a tough region. Look, that's not a secret. It's not like we're breaking news to anybody out there.
But I do think, ultimately, if you want to be the best, then you got to beat the best, and so it'll be a good test for their program for sure. But
well, I mean, it's going to be a test every week.
Yeah.
You're talking about you want to jump on in, that you're going to get that challenge every week. Luke said, good news for Chelsea. It's as hard as it's going to get right now, so it can't get any worse. But you come in and get the hammer thrown. But again, I know those kids will work hard and prepare. They've got a new coach.
Yeah.
So they may be looking at they may come out and surprise some teams. That's another way to look at it, is they understand the challenge that's ahead of them. We've got a new coach here at Benjamin Russell, Smitty Grider. We opened up the season on August 19th with Sylacauga, a team that we were able to beat at the end of the year last year. This program got better, Scott, as the year went on. It was a rough start to the season, but if you look at how Benjamin Russell finished, winning 3 of their last 5 games and winning against Sylacauga, who came into the game with a 6-2 record, or they actually came in with a 7-2 record. Ended up finishing 7-3 on the regular season with that loss to us, but had a tremendous offensive attack. It was a good football game. We'll open up with them this coming year up there.
It's kind of weird to see that happen too, finishing and starting with the same team. But we'll say this, it can be a little misleading. I made this comment before, but if you are a senior on this team, you've had a new coach basically every year that you're
right. Not a coordinator, head coach.
So there has to be, I think that the primary thing is having someone in now who we all feel and look forward to stabilizing the program and get back to some continuity of the staff, and obviously as relates to the staff, a little bit behind the 8 ball, coming in so late, having to get assistant coaches. But I think that the guys that have been brought on are tremendous and have great experience. So Benjamin Russell, with the talent level that is there with the skill players specifically, but as a whole, the team is very talented. Good opportunity to surprise some people.
I'm going to
for them.
say this about what you just said. That also probably has allowed this group of seniors to grow up from a maturity standpoint more than any other group, having to deal with new leadership every year, and being dealt those cards at such a young age and having to change every year. So they're maybe more adaptive, and instead of things coming at them and being a little bit more off the cuff, they handle that with ease better than maybe some other programs.
That's a good point.
I just think that from a veteran leadership, this team understands. They understand their role as seniors. I think Coach Grider said that to them on their very first meeting when he said, "Look, I've got to have the seniors in this room be our leaders," and I don't think that's some groundbreaking analysis from Coach Grider. Everybody says that you need leadership from your seniors, but I think what he was saying is we all really know it's probably more important for this group than any because of the instability that's been the last couple of years, 3 years with changing coaches, and they're going to lean on them, and this new coach staff is going to lean on them heavily to be the workhorses.
And you've been calling games for 20-plus years, and I've been following – I mean, you've been following Ben Rose forever, and so have we all. But this receiving core –
this may be the best I've ever seen.
It may be the best. I mean, when I was in school, you had Thomas Harris and Demetrius
we've had some
and
really
William
good ones
Morgan,
now,
Jimmy
no doubt.
Jarrell. Those were great cores. But overall, you've got Corey Milner, who really in an abbreviated
1,000 yards
season
last year.
Yeah, I mean, he was number 3 receiver in yards and touchdowns going into like week 6 or 7 of the season. You have Chris Foster, who will be fully healthy for a full schedule.
He's gotten bigger.
Nuke McKinney.
He's one of the fastest kids in the
state. And possibly
we
some
saw,
other things.
We saw him take the top off defenses last year multiple times in the same game. And they knew they were going to throw to him, and they still couldn't cover him because
you're right. I mean, you've got a potential D1 prospect at the quarterback position.
There's no doubt.
So, the talent level is here, and I hadn't seen it like this in a while. It really reminds me of that 2000 stretch where we talked about it last week, where we talked about pipelines. Where Benjamin Russell was sending somebody
every year
to Auburn
every year,
and then even some other schools around. You had Louisville, and it was great to see that. And I think we're getting back to a point now where we'll have some attention back on the program as it relates to recruits.
You look at it from going back to the comments again. I think that Coach Ryder walked in and saw the talent level. That's why he's like the thing that could help us get over the hump. We know we got the talent, but talent alone just doesn't win. You got to put all the pieces together. Everybody's got to be on the same page. You got to have strong leadership. I think that's kind of why he was stressing in a very abbreviated time of all of them being together. They got a lot of extra work to do to try to get to where they want to be. You can get there faster when you got the talent Benjamin Russell's got. That's the fortunate thing. If you're going out there and you don't have the talent, you're probably going, well, we'll do the best we can. I think he knows that they can win this year if some things fall into place, and that's what you got to do. That's how you got to look at it from that standpoint. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I think the seniors from last year kind of laid the foundation. They got things going in the last half of the year and had this program going in the right direction. And if they would have had a couple of breaks in the first half of the season, they would have been an easy playoff team. That team last year was talented enough to be a playoff team. And I know woulda, coulda, shoulda, everybody out there listening is probably going, well, that could have happened to Chelsea and that could have happened to this, that, and that's true. But that's the difference in a playoff team and a non-playoff team. The playoff teams find a way to get that done. The non-playoff teams are sitting back talking about how it could have gone. So I think Coach Grider understands what they're dealing with, and there's a lot of opportunity for this program. I'm just going to say that, and exciting. That gives you a lot of excitement heading into the season. I mean, you look down the road, and we're going to talk about some of our local teams over the next few weeks. But Dadeville, I mean, look at the talent they've got. I mean, they've got a chance to do some things as well. So just, always good to get everybody's 0-0. Everybody's undefeated until August 19th. So up against other breaks, stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price, the sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. You can comment away on Facebook Live. You can find us at Sports Blitz Live. That's sports with a Z. Want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for their longtime partnership with us on our programming. Want to thank all of our sponsors, as you can see there, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores across the bottom of your screen. All of our segment sponsors and sponsors of our program, Russell Do-It Center being our corporate partner on the AHSA network, been that way for 10 years now. Very much appreciative for all that they've done for the student athletes here in the state of Alabama. Scott, I want to flip over. Now, this list may surprise you a little bit. It's kind of surprised me, to be honest, when I was listening to David and Andy yesterday talk about the best college towns, and this is not necessarily how good your football team is, okay? If anything, it's really doesn't have a lot to do with sports in general. And I've been to some of these towns, and I've been, and I would like to go to some of them that I haven't been to. But really, when you look down, you would think, man, this thing probably is dominated by SEC teams, and it's not. So you flip through there, and you start down at 25. I won't go through all of these, but the first SEC team you find is number 21, College Station, Texas. Now, I haven't been to College Station. That's a trip I want to make. Definitely know we've had some buddies that have made the trip. Luke went. I know Justin has gone. We've got several. They had a great time. It's a great environment, obviously, from a football standpoint. But this list is quality, like quality of life, livability, student to resident ratio, cultural offerings, school presence, large employers nearby. So maybe a little bit more of a metropolitan feel to some of these lists. So there's College Station, Texas. The next one on the list for the SEC is Lexington, Kentucky. I've been there. And
I think this list is trash.
I looked over at you and I saw. Now let me say that this is bestcollegereviews.org. So I don't know what kind of credence that gives. When do you think of when you think college town? You think football, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you think about large employers.
No,
I'm not trying to.
I get what they're saying, but when I think, college get like a game day experience. One, SEC is dominating every other conference.
Well, let's just name the daggum SEC teams on here. Texas A&M, and then you got Kentucky at 19. You've got Gainesville, University of Florida at 11, and that's it.
There's no way. I
Three
mean,
SEC teams. So.
As much as I despise
Look,
them,
I've been to Gainesville. I've been to Lexington. I haven't been to College Station. They have a bigger feel to them. I mean, they do. So let's go to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey there, Britt. How you doing today? Scott, how you?
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Doing good. Let's go back just for 1 second to this. When they had that trumped-up deal with Harsin, the board, and one in particular, replaced Pat Dye with that General Burgess. And General Burgess was worse than George Armstrong Custer. He couldn't, that was a sham. It was nothing ever proved. And when it came down to it, when Harsin, had that $18 million on the line, they didn't want to do that. They wanted him to just go on out the door. I'll say this. He can coach. I know he can coach. I don't give a flip what anybody else says. The proof's in the pudding. We realize that. But I'm going to say this, that I've said it once before. If you're not a booster and you see somebody at one of these games, pick up the phone, find out who they are, where they go to school, who their coach is, and call the recruiting department down there. That helps. We're supposed to be a big family and all that stuff, and I don't think that the hatred for Harsin is deep or anything. I think that sham last year, like you said a while ago, Britt, it was typical. We've been through them before, but our athletic director did his job. He's done it with the basketball team and with the baseball team. He's not anybody's, he's his own person, I think, and I'm so glad that he exercised that the way he did. He's helped the sports that he's over all of them, but what I'm saying, especially the basketball and baseball teams. The football team will improve. I will say this. We've got some good recruiters on that staff now. Rumbaugh and Hilliard and Etheridge and Robinson, a young man from Florida, the linebacker coach. So I'm a true Auburn fan. I don't turn on a coach until he's gone. I mean, he's still the program's down the tubes. We're far from that right now. I go back to Tuberville. I go back to about any coach we've had. Gus Malzahn, no, we came on the first year, but we had a horrible year the year before. Tuberville, Coach Dye was 5-7. They played hard just like we did this year. There's no difference except the board didn't get who they wanted. And boo-hoo-hoo. They don't own that damn university. Every person in the state of Alabama owns it. They're the ones that run it. And I'll be honest with you, that did hurt worse than anything else. Plus, COVID hit him when he got in there. Not him, but hit us real bad. And nobody was practicing anywhere. So he started off with one leg and a cast. Let's just give him time. Carson can coach. I don't give a damn what Terry or anybody else says. They can say what they want to. But, you know, I think you put it in perspective earlier that hurt worse than anything else.
There's no question. I mean, after doing the analysis and all of us talking about this for months, there's no doubt that we did more damage to ourselves, and I say we, our own people, than anything. And all you've done is give more fuel to fire the coaches that are going to go out and spin things negatively against Auburn. So,
exactly.
So
exactly. They never learned that lesson either. But I wouldn't root for anybody else. I was born with a orange and blue pacifier in my mouth. I guess I don't know. That's been so damn long ago. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good weekend. And
you too.
I missed y'all for a couple of days, and I called that little guy that let you talk to y'all. And I said, you better get them back on the air up here in Birmingham. We were watching some dang bunch of commercials for an hour.
What?
I missed Andy and y'all, and so I was glad y'all were on this morning.
Glad we got that.
Y'all are the best. Thank you, and War Eagle.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you, and War Eagle back to you. I'm gonna say this about that. I mean, he brought up a good point about the COVID thing coming in. You know, you hiring a new coach with COVID. You know, I go back and look at the season. Would it have been? We kind of got spoiled. He went 6-2, start off 6-2, and you're going, man, this is. You know, I was the one. Everybody thought. You looked at the rest of the schedule. You got 8 wins in the bag. Like, man, the guy's gonna win 8 games his first season. You know, coming in and looks like he's going to do it, and he snapped the LSU streak. You know, he went and beat a very good Arkansas team on the road. You kind of felt good about where the program was, and then inexplicably it all kind of fell apart. He kind of was his own worst enemy, getting off to such a great start. You know, you lose that Penn State game, really a bad call coming out of the gate in the second half, where that little ditzy dude turned around, we fumble the ball, and they get it, and they go down and score. But that at the end of the day, you felt good about the progress that you were making. It just fell apart. And then all the all-season stuff came, and it's just kind of all snowballed. I think you just got to figure out a way to dig yourself out of the avalanche now, Scott. It's just the thing is, you know, this team's got some pretty good talent. It's not the deepest team, but it's on defense. They've got I saw where, you know, a publication, I don't know if it's Saturday Down South or whatever, the top defensive lines in the country, the top 25. I think Alabama was 2, Georgia was 3, and Auburn was 5. Best defensive lines in the country, and I'm talking about all programs. So they got some pieces, and so if the offensive line that's been down there for 22 years can actually build some chemistry, and whoever takes the reins at quarterback, whether it be Calzada or Robbie Ashford or maybe T.J. Finley, whoever. But I think it's going to be Zach Calzada. We'll see what happens. You know, I think this year could be okay. Maybe if you don't get recruiting going in the right direction, that's your worries moving forward. But just take them 1 year at a time. Don't worry about what's going to happen in 23. You need to worry about what happens in 22. And he did make a great point. There's never in a million years would I have thought 2013 was going to be the year it was, because 2012 was maybe the worst year that any of us has ever experienced as an Auburn fan. Seriously.
No, it was
horrible.
It was terrible. No, I mean, whatever.
I mean, would you have thought coming out of 2012, did you have any aspirations other than can we just get a winning record next year?
Yeah. No, I mean, you go
to the national championship.
Which ultimately I think may have been the
worst.
Yeah, the worst thing that happened. But, you know, it is.
Not really. The worst thing was Gus couldn't figure out what he wanted to do. He had the blueprint, and he wadded it up and threw it in the trash.
We did. I mean, we've seen a transition of what Auburn has been and what it can be and what it looks like when it's at its worst over the last decade. So maybe we're headed in the right spot.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River Region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget. And with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Actually, it's not Sports Blitz Live, it's Saturday Sports Countdown. So well, we are in a short segment here on Saturday Sports Countdown. Just want to go over a couple things so we can get to our final segment of the program. So you don't really like this list, huh, too much?
No.
We failed to give you the number 1 town, and now Luke kind of confirmed this yesterday. He could see this being the number 1 overall city or college town in Boulder, Colorado.
I mean, there's probably some underlying reasons
Dudes.
why that's probably a primary reason.
I was going to say,
but, But I mean, I love Auburn's.
Are we really Ames, Iowa? Number 5.
I mean,
are you kidding, man? Really?
I can't get on board with a lot of it. And I mean, I haven't been to all these places, so I can't say.
Ithaca, New York. No. Is that what you think of when you think college town?
I think about being
Corvallis, Oregon, Oregon State. Did you watch the Auburn-Oregon State Super Regional, the fog and the rain? I mean, how is that? No. Now, I know that doesn't have anything to do with it, but I know the criteria that they're using. Livability? Who wants to move to Corvallis?
I'm just saying,
are you kidding me?
For a game day, I just think about game day experience, and I don't think there's anywhere like there aren't a lot of places that are going to compete with Athens, Georgia, and Oxford, Mississippi, and Auburn, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I think they just tired of SEC winning everything.
That's
so
it.
they came up with their own
SEC
list.
fatigue.
All right, up against our final break of the program. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Split Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, 256-234-6221. You got a few minutes if you want to get a call in. Just going back to closing this show out, again, high school football a month out. College football media days, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that today. That will be next week. So next Saturday, Scott will be talking about everything that went on at media days, and that's going to be a fun. It's fun for us from a media standpoint because, again, it's kind of a formality now. It's really not a. It's just really a tradition. They really don't even need media days anymore, but it gives outlets a chance to interview players and coaches and gives them an opportunity to go and sit before the media and talk and all that. But there's really no breaking news, anything traumatic that drops unless they come in and the SEC commissioner says they're going to add 4 teams to the SEC, which I think all that's been squashed. I do think eventually they'll expand again, but I think the presidents and the SEC got together last week and said, look, we're done at 16. We ain't expanding anymore. We don't need to expand anymore. There were some outlets questioning some of the SEC officials at a conference, and they were like, what about Notre Dame? What does that mean if they go to Big Ten? They go, who cares? What does that matter? And I think that's the attitude of the SEC. They're like, look, we're going out picking who we want. We don't need anybody else. If we want somebody, we'll go get them, and they've got to have some type of reason for us to go out and get them now. So I think that's the attitude of the SEC. They're the barometer for whatever's going on in the world of college athletics now, and everybody else is just kind of following suit.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds nice when you start seeing, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida, right. All that looks nice, but Clemson, but the brand, those teams are. That tells you where the brand of the SEC is. Those teams want to come here. It's not necessarily like you're saying.
They're not going out.
Yeah, they don't have to do that.
Right.
So I think the comment about the barometer of everything, I think that is spot on for athletics across the country as it relates to the SEC.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's kind of where it is. But anyway, I didn't quite get to everything we wanted to this morning. That's the way it usually goes for us. Had a lot of great content. And, again, we'll be back with you next week. Auburn Blitz will be on the air on Monday at noon, and then Sports Blitz Live. And the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show will be on Tuesday. Auburn Blitz throughout the week, noon to 1. So, again, and we'll be back on the air for Saturday Sports Countdown next Saturday. Again, I want to thank all of you for out there joining us every single week for all of our programming. We couldn't do it without you. You make us who we are, and we're always excited to bring you the latest in what's going on in the world of sports. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll hope you have to see you next week.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly, our guarantee to you.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice. The best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.